In 2015, I volunteered in an elementary school in Henan province with Dream Corp, a nonprofit organization dedicated to promote reading in rural China. We installed school libraries and designed and led reading activities based on social constructivism. Seeing the limited resources and challenges that students faced, I was impressed by their passion for reading books, which could help them to achieve their potential. A UNICEF research found that there are 40.5 million left behind children in China who remain in rural areas while their parents worked in the cities to make a living. Because they are far away from their parents, this population is more prone to emotional challenges. Additionally, we heard from teachers that over 95% of elementary students do not have direct access to the internet at all, nor do they have any after-school educational resources. Thus, we see an urgent need to strengthen the school's ability to better support student growth. Last year, the Ministry of Education issues a reform which creates new teaching challenges. Although the standardized Chinese language textbooks reduce regional differences, the new exam questions are not based on those textbooks. In fact, there are more reading comprehension exam questions than it used to be. We conducted interviews with 7 rural area teachers and 4 Dream Corp volunteers, where we find that teachers do not see reading benefits exam performance, neither do they have the knowledge to nurture students' independent reading comprehension skill, and these lead to lower exam grades for the students. Hence, we propose YoungRead, a website that supports teachers in transforming students' reading interest into academic success, and it addresses the 3 problems in the following ways.
The foundation of our product is a book matching system. So let's say you're a teacher and you really want to find external sources about the topic friendship. With YoungRead, you can easily find those books in your school library that also talk about friendship. By providing this thematic learning index, teachers can really take advantage of their students' reading interest in bettering their comprehension skills. In this information overload decade, students not only need materials to dive deeper into a single textbook, they also need to develop a broader perspective across different disciplines and everyday life. So YoungRead enables students to comprehend both of them better. Dream Corps volunteers, backed by children's literature expertise and youth developmental psychologists, will help our team to generate the tagging system for the books. Building on that, we also promote appropriate reading activities with the book to assist teaching. Considering teachers' need for better training, we collected the reading activities that Dream Corps volunteers had generated through the practice in the past 15 years. One interviewee from Henan province said she really wanted to learn more from the volunteers on how they created and led those reading activities. The kids were so excited and interested in the class, she said. YoungRead empowers teachers to implement those reading activities, promoting students' classroom engagement, idea sharing, and critical thinking. Last but not least, our research showed that the exam grade is extremely important for both students and teachers. YoungRead provides students a platform which prepares them to answer the reading exam questions. Students can share their ideas on paper either through writing, drawing, or even paper folding. Utilizing pair sharing, both teachers and students could really get inspired from different perspectives and generate more meaningful reflections and discussions. To better understand the whole process of using YoungRead, we introduced Yaya, a Chinese teacher from Henan province. Recently, she's going to teach an excerpt from Tom Sawyer in the textbook, and she wanted to help her students to fully explore the idea that that textbook is promoting. So she logged into the YoungRead on her phone and typed in Tom Sawyer. Then she saw a relevant book that the library has is The Little Prince. Recommended as relevant because of the shared topics of friendship and self-actualization. Typing in, she saw 4 reading activities that she could use to engage students to read the book. Skimming the preparation checklist, process overview, and the question prompts, she downloaded and printed the PDF version to prepare for the next lesson plans. She then reserved The Little Prince in the school library system for the students to read while learning the Tom Sawyer in class. And after conducting the reading activity, she collected students' precious feedback drawing and uploaded it on the YoungRead for other students to review.
Now the market opportunity. Despite large annual revenues in the Chinese education market, there are still 180 million underserved children. YoungRead hopes to fill that gap. For students and teachers, YoungRead will be free to use. For their schools, $500 to install and a $150 annual subscription. For context, $500 is slightly more than 1 month's salary for a Chinese rural school teacher, around a lower middle class income. We chose not to charge individuals because the students and teachers have limited resources, and we believe the larger system should assume responsibility for and invest in the well-being of its members. In the early years, our focus is developing a strong foundation. Main expenses are development and implementation staff, servers and databases, and travel to the initial schools. We will be leveraging Dreamcore's existing channels of developers, volunteers, and partner schools to help us keep costs low and roll out YoungRead alongside already installed systems. And we will not charge these first few schools because we recognize the uncertainty of onboarding a new platform. Instead, we will tap into the recent explosion of investment in education in China to cover startup costs. Meanwhile, we will monitor closely the effect of YoungRead on education outcomes, and we hope to present data to the Ministry of Education to secure a contract to reach a wider network of schools. At 3 years, we can begin building schools. At our stated pricing of $500 install and $150 subscription, we forecast breaking even and achieving sustainability in the 6th year. At that point, YoungRead will have reached 700 schools and impacted the educations of 175,000 children.
We designed YoungRead based on research and our volunteer or teaching experiences in rural China. Our team has expertise in teaching pedagogy, education innovation, engineering, and user experience research and design. We are being supported by education, information studies, and library science researchers and practitioners who serve as mentors through this process and address our blind spots. With the rich resources from the University of Michigan, YoungRead can create a better reading education for rural teachers and students to close the educational resource gap.